I call the honourable member for Parkes.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. My question is to the Minister for Agriculture. Will the minister outline what new action the government is taking to support farmers and communities both in Parkes and other drought-affected areas across Australia?
I call the honourable Minister for Agriculture.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, and I thank the member for Parkes who allowed us into his electorate with the Prime Minister, and there it was part of the hard work that he's done over such a long period of time. Not only him, but also the member for Farrer, Susan Lee, and also the member for Maranoa, Bruce Scott. I also commend the Leader of the Opposition and thank him for his support. I think that issues such as this should rise above politics, and it is a clear example of the Australian people seeing mums and dads who are doing it tough, who are under the pump, and saying that for this issue we'll put politics aside because we must concentrate on these people who are such a clear reflection on who we are. I'd also like to thank the people of the Australian cities in Sydney, in Melbourne and Brisbane, who, when they've done the Vox Pop, say they get it, they understand it quite clearly, that these are people who need to be supported because they live by the vagaries of the weather. They live by the fact that for the last 18 months, sometimes 2 years, they've had no income stream and they have no prospect of one for the next 6 to 8 months in many instances. And nobody else would want to see themselves in that position where someone would say to you, well, not only have we not paid you in the last 18 months, we don't intend to pay you for at least another half a year. You couldn't survive. The question clearly pointed out what are some of the advantages of this and how we move things forward. And I want to point out a few. We're removing the assets test on what was formerly known as the transitional farm family payment to the new settings, so we go from 1.5 to 2.55, exempting the farm house and also allowing off-farm assets that are comparable to what you would get under other social security packages. We will also make sure that we give the capacity for the person to earn money off-farm up to the value of $80,000, providing that their interest bill is in excess of that. Because what you will often note, and the member for Parkes will be aware of this, is that the money from that just goes straight to the bank. We'll also be making sure that people who have access to a concessional rate of money at 4%, $1 million or 50% of their loan, whichever the lesser, so we keep control of that credit and we are prudent with the finances of our nation. This advantage, if someone has money at, let's say, 8% and they can refinance back down to $40,000 per million over 5 years, that's $200,000. That's a real advantage. We'll also be looking at mental health, and we know the issues of mental health and how important they are, and we will be reinvesting in that. And then other issues such as wild dogs. People might snigger about it, but this is incredibly important. No point feeding out the sheep if the sheep are getting eaten by the wild dogs and other animals. Water infrastructure, also vitally important. So I commend the work that's been done by so many, and I thank the support of the Prime Minister of Australia.